high school is supposed to help me develop my skill sets, feel accomplished, and inspire me to learn, then why do I dread it this much?
I generally really enjoy school. That being said, I feel like my relationship with education is disastrous. Teachers and administrators are always telling us not to compare ourselves, but how can we not, when the system is forcing us to?
I used to enjoy school. Now, not so much.
Most days I'm glad to go to school and learn new things. Other times, I want absolutely nothing to do with it.
It's complicated, as school is both a fuel for ambition and a detriment to my mental health. I didn't expect my perfectionism to go that far to need to take a semester break in grade 10, or to discover the root of my diagnosis of depression and OCD.
As much as I want to love learning, I associate it with assignments and marks, which just causes me stress.
Ever since a young age, I've adored being at school. As I entered high school, it became less enjoyable. The problem is hardly with education itself, but what's needed for students to thrive. At my school, there is no mental help offered unless you're visibly struggling. By no means is my relationship a negative one, but the bad experiences tend to stick with you longer than the positive ones.
Somewhat healthy.
Well-rounded.
It's improving every day.
I've always enjoyed school and have a real love for learning. It keeps my mind busy and motivated.
I kinda hate it, and I kinda don't.
I feel very lucky to have the education system.
Very blessed.
Education is a blessing. Living in a first world country, school is one of the things I'm very grateful for. Coming from a strict household, if you don't get over 90%, your own disappointment scares you more than that of others.
I've sacrificed a lot of free time during my life because of school. When I finally get my work done, I don't have time to do the things I actually enjoy.
Time for hobbies or my loved ones.
Balancing school with dance.
Extracurriculars.
I've missed out on a lot of outings and have become bad at maintaining relationships and knowing how to relax.
Friendships.
Friends in my social life. I regret it.
It's so hard to find time between work, sports, and homework.
There are several challenges that students face in education. This can become a huge struggle when a student has immigrated and is developing skills in ESL programs.
After immigrating from Asia in 2019, it took me a while to adjust to the education system in Canada.
Inclusivity and trying to fit in with the basic social dynamics and hierarchy.
I felt excluded and bullied.
Peer pressure and trying to please others.
I just feel like I'm generally not accepted by students based on attributes I can't control.
Discrimination.
Racism.
My dad got arrested, which made me a target for a lot of people. In the past, I'd just be walking down the hallway or sitting in the cafeteria, and someone would yell insults or throw things at me.
There's stigma, stereotypes, and double standards.
Everyone just assumed I knew everything about math and science, perhaps because of my ethnicity.
As a Chinese-Canadian student, I've been a victim of racism ever since I started school. The concept was never taught in school. People call me names related to the COVID-19, refer to me as yellow or orange, say I eat dogs and cats. My teachers often refer to me as previous Asian students. It took years for me to understand that these behaviors were inappropriate and wrong. I feel education failed me and every student who has been subjected to racism at school.
I feel that everything I'm doing is never good enough.
Wasn't good enough.
Good enough.
Good enough.
Not feeling good enough because I don't score as high as my friends on tests.
I feel pressured to take extracurricular to get ahead.
Finding the motivation to complete my work.
I hate how your grades are the thing that make up your identity.
I've cried many times because what I got in a course was below the class average.
90% of the negative emotions and stress in my life come from school. I'm always told by teachers I don't know what real stress is.
Homework and assignments cause unnecessary stress and take up a lot of my free time that I should be spending taking care of myself and my mental health.
Multiple assignments in a week, piled up tests and projects, all due on the same day.
Being non-semester and having a lot of work.
Too much work.
The amount of work.
Getting out of bed and being productive while having depression is hard. Being in school, surrounded by people for 6 hours with no break is horrendous, given my social and test anxiety. Throwing up because I'm too stressed to present in front of the class. Having dyslexia but needing to read so much material. Being called out in front of the class for not focusing or paying attention when I have ADHD. Teachers have refused to abide by my IEP, even though it was written by a medical professional. I've become more focused on getting high marks than actually retaining the information.
Tests are not teaching us to learn, but to memorize.
Standardized tests
I struggle to keep up after getting a major concussion. I don't think the school system is equipped to deal with this type of student.
I was pushed up a grade because my teachers said I was gifted. I struggled to adjust to the curriculum.
Being an autism spectrum disorder student, I found that I wasn't disciplined enough. Teachers let me get away with making a lot of mistakes in my work. They put me at a lower level than the rest. I wondered why people were ahead of me. I kept repeating the mistakes I've learned due to my poor study habits, and the only person who noticed was my grandfather.
I feel like we should be taught more useful tools, like how to do your taxes, buy a house, apply for a loan. We know little about these, but we do know how to solve for X and write an 8-page essay in a week. I feel like school is more about learning how to memorize information, write or say it exactly how the teacher wants us to, only to forget after our most recent test or exam.
Teachers don't do anything exciting with their curriculum.
It would be great if we could work towards finding more creative ways to teach,
with methods best suited for the varied learning of students.
It feels almost as if teachers only try to make sure we get through the course rather than actually learn something.
Some teachers just don't care.
There's no passion, no joy. Why should I put effort into my learning if they put minimal effort into teaching?
Teachers made me grow to hate subjects I once loved.
Some play
favorites. I feel like some don't even like their job.
Cramming the night before a test is the way it's been forever, but you always forget everything the next day and ultimately learn nothing.
The lack of course transparency and the lack of encouragement and resources for students to learn specific subjects that could be important in the future.
If I take an art course, they call it a bird course, as if the things I'm interested in aren't important enough. I wish schools would do a better job of highlighting the importance of every subject, because students have different interests, abilities, and strengths.
Class sizes are too large.
Emphasize when students should get help in order to have a healthy lifestyle and mentality.
I am very lucky to have all the opportunities that I do. I try to remain grateful and work hard, but my relationship with academics can sometimes become toxic when I start to give into the competitive atmosphere. Education shouldn't be something high school students dread waking up to, and I certainly don't want to fall into that mentality.
I believe school can bring great things for students, but I just can't enjoy it until I see change.